Okay, we're on the record in case D 530134, Geraldo versus Gultierrez. Ryan is present, and counsel?
Ashley Vasquez, bar number 14637 for McFarling Law Group, representing defendant Andrea Gutierrez, and also present is law clerk Michael Burton.
Okay. All right, so this is the continuation of the evidentiary hearing we've started in the past a couple times. We finished off with you at the end of the day during your testimony, and he's basically, I told him, like, gather yourself, come back, we'll start first thing in the morning, and we'll let him present his testimony, pretty much in a narrative is what we're doing at this point. And then if you want to cross-examine him, do that, and then you can start your case. I don't expect it to take long because I think we got most of everything dealt with. Yeah. I mean, I don't expect yours to take all day, like we've been taking all day. I would imagine that once you tell me what it is that you want me to know, then we can get started on the defendant's case. So, you made a face like,
Well, I don't know. It's just so much. Much.
You have it. I mean, I've heard most of it based upon what you've questioned her about. Now, part of what you told me last time. So you just need to go ahead and lay out for me the rest of what it is that you want me to know. I assume you did what I asked, which is like make a list of, all the points that you want to make, and then we'll get started. Okay?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, I did best I can.
Okay.
I got an email, I think it was Thursday or Friday.
Mm-hmm.
They were asking for a continuance till January 22nd.
Mm-hmm.
And, I thought, it'd probably be good for me to be able to have more time to get, my stuff in order.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was like, well, that's not going to be good for my son because it's already been a year and a half.
Mm-hmm.
And he's still, having issues going to the rest of number one and number two. And so I was like, yeah, no.
Okay, so is there a request for a continuance?
I didn't want to agree to that. So.
At least for our case, he indicated that his side was going to take all day. But I'm filling in for Emily McFarling. She has vertigo. She can't walk. And so I'm also filling in for her 3 p.m. hearing this afternoon. So we were wanting a continuance. He denied our continuance. So
he denied it? I was saying, yeah.
Yeah, he did. So if there's any way that we can at least conclude by 2 p.m. at the latest today, so we can at least start our case a full day after the new year.
Okay, wait a minute. Great. So you're saying you don't want to start your case today?
No, we expect to have a full day of trial. So even if we start today, we're going to need another one. So we would like a full day.
His is not. I really don't expect him. I mean, I expect that a lot of what he's going to tell me is going to be repetitive, and I don't want you to repeat yourself. Like I know your position on most everything. I would think that based upon what we dealt with in the last couple of days of trial. So if you want to do your testimony this morning, and then.
I would be willing to continue if we could get some temporary orders in place.
Well, we have temporary orders in place.
I mean, as far as having consistent care for my son, that way I can prove to you that what I've been saying is happening is the truth.
Okay, but the testimony.
I can stop him from having his accidents, and I can prove to you that is due to.
I don't know. I mean, look. So basically, then what's the temporary order that you're looking for? To just have her not have any contact?
No, she can take him when on her days off that she has time to, because she works in the afternoon. In the mornings, he's at school. He doesn't see him. When he gets home, she goes to work. He doesn't see him. She's with my son is with her partner, and that's a whole other story. I haven't even brought up her. Okay, so on her days off. If she wants to, as long as I can give him his medication in the morning and at night, she can take him and do whatever, whenever she's off, and she has time to be with him.
Okay, well, that is a different story, but I don't have that evidence yet.
Yes, we haven't any evidence on that story. So we would just request status quo until Your Honor makes final orders.
Okay. Are you prepared to deal with his testimony? You?
Yeah, he can continue today. If you don't want to give us a continuance for this afternoon, we're prepared to go forward, but we're going to need another day anyways.
Wow. This case should not take this long. It really should.
We don't plan to go any more than one day. Your Honor, this is a pro bono case. You might know that already.
I know.
He's pretty much acting like this is a full-time job, constantly giving us stuff every day, coming in our office, dropping things off. Just has entire new binder.
Are they constantly giving me things to you know?
Well, I mean, that's part of it. Okay, look, so, I mean, the complaint could be the opposite, right? Typically, you're dealing with someone who doesn't give you anything, right? You know, when you deal with
We would like it to complete
when you
as
deal
soon
with a
as possible.
self-represented, typically they don't provide any documents, so at least he's doing that. Okay. So, let's swear him in and get him started on, and I want to hear your case. Let's get it done, so that way we're done with your side of the equation. Then, when they put on their case, then you'll be able to ask their witnesses, Ms. Gultierrez and whoever else they put on, questions as well. So, let's get started. Let's go ahead and swear him in. But I don't anticipate that this would take all day, or even, you know, I just can't imagine. Go ahead.
Do you want him to let the witness in?
Yeah, he can get sworn in here, and then we'll have him get set
Okay,
up
I
over
just
here. Yeah.
You do solemnly swear the testimony you're about to give in this action will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
All right, so you want to go and take all your paperwork up to the stand and your exhibits and everything so that you can do your testimony from there.
Is it the same?
Yeah, it's the same.
Yeah, then you can use from there.
Yeah.
We don't have any exhibits for him. Do you have a copy for us?
You can use that.
want-
You don't have a copy?
Let them use that set, if this is the same.
Yeah, well then I'll just take one.
And they can use my set because I can't look at them yet.
You want to give that to them?
Yeah, I guess.
Okay.
Actually, no, because I don't know if there's notes in there. 'Cause this is my
Okay, here. Let him take this set for now. Let him take this set because I can't look at it yet.
He made them, but I took too much time.
Okay, so last we left off, you had started sort of laying out the basis for your request. So if you want to go ahead and get started. Is she a witness? No? Okay. Just making sure. Okay, Mr. Geraldo.
Okay.
Where to start, right? Like, where do I start? Is that what you're thinking?
Yeah.
Go ahead and just, start from the beginning. I think I told you that the last time. Just go ahead and lay out from the beginning what your position is, and we'll go from there. It should flow pretty easily after you get started.
Well, okay, so, and me and Drea separated, okay. It was pretty much okay, like, we wasn't, things were never that bad, like, as far as, seeing the kids, like, exchanging the kids and talking about the kids, it was, we had somewhat of a, okay line of communication. Besides the fact that I would only be able to see the kids like when it was convenient for her. That was the only thing that was kind of really like not that good. I mean, when she decided that she was going to, okay, hold on, back up. My son has been in diapers or training pants basically his whole life. He's been peeing in his pants his whole life, okay? And all I hear is like, oh, it's hereditary, like, it's fine, it'll go away. Like, I don't hear like, well, maybe let's see, is there anything we can do? Like, if she claimed that her whole family, or was it Hattie, or her brother took medication, or whoever in her family took medication for it, why wouldn't she think my son should take medication for it? Why would she, and was seeing doctors, why shouldn't my son see doctors and take medication for it if that was the case? If she knew one of her family members did that for the problem, why was it different for my son? So, and then we, just lost communication pretty much out of nowhere, and we didn't know why at the time. And we find a Facebook post saying that they want to raise the children with just her family. And then that was shortly after we find out they're moving to California. So basically, she was going to try and cut me out of my children's life and my family. So, I told her, you do not have my consent to take the children to California and everything. She did it anyway. And then she punished my daughter for wanting to talk to me. If she talked to me, tell her that we wouldn't have, everything would be fine if you would just didn't want to talk to your daughter or your son, your dad. If you didn't want to talk to your dad, none of this, we wouldn't have any problems or issues or whatever. And pretty much blame her for like wanting me to be a part of her life, like making her feel bad about it. So, when they got back from California, and I did get to, I tried to get my daughter, and she was just so scared to go with me, okay? She wanted to call her mom and see if it was okay, because, I wanted to spend time with her, They said I was going to take her to a lawyer or whatever, but why would I, Well, what is she going to tell the lawyers? She's not the lawyer's not the judge or anything, or somebody that's going to do, We can tell the lawyer anything that needs to be said. So I don't know where she came up with that. And then, she was saying that she wanted to go with me, and her mom didn't just...
The daughter? Objections, you're saying?
Yeah, my daughter was saying she wanted to go with me. We already determined that last court date.
Hold on. This is, I was going to say, a lot of this, I've already heard. A lot of this. In fact, all of this, I've already heard.
Just kind of want to refresh it and go through it, and just so...
Yeah, and I've heard the daughter wanting to go with and whatever. I've heard all this. So, I believe me, I remember all this. So, if you can, I don't know, fast forward, get to where we left off, as opposed to rehashing all of it, because we will be here all day otherwise. And I have all this information already. So really what I want to hear from you is, fact, like, you heard her testimony, your position as it relates to why you want custody, why, or any response to her testimony that you think I should know. Lay out the factors of,
Pretty much, before court started, Okay, when I figured out he had an issue, another issue besides the bladder issue, I was trying to let her know, inform her, tell her that, you know, this was a problem and we needed to fix it. And this, the only thing I can, you know, come up with after all this time is I just picture, like, I don't know, like a toddler, like putting their fingers in their ears going like, la la la, I don't believe you, I don't have to listen to you. Like, I don't know, it just, so, you know, even after seeing the x-rays and all the doctor's notes, it's like, how do you not believe that? And, you know, he's pooping in his pants at your place too, not just mine. So for her to say, like, that she didn't believe it is not, I don't.
How do you reconcile the description that she gives versus the description that you give? I mean, it sounds to me like you're both talking about the same thing, but you're calling it something different. Do you know what I'm saying? I mean, you talked about that the last time. You're saying accident. She's saying, you know, there's smears. It's normal.
Well, it's kind of like the same. They're kind of like the same thing.
Right.
A smear is like a little bit would just leak out, and you don't even know because he's dilated and he has, you know, like balls stuck in there, and the
Right.
still ready to, you know, on top of that is liquid, so it just kind of like will fall out, and it just will leave like a smear mark in his underwear. But then other times he'll actually go in his underwear. So I mean, it's kind of like the same thing. One is kind of like a smaller, and one's like a bigger, you know, accident.
Okay, so I guess. Okay, it's probably too technical of a question, but I'm going to ask it.
Like either way, if
Hold on, let me ask you a question. Because this is, so you're trying to tell me that, and look, I just want to get to the bottom of it so we can figure out what to do, what's best for your son, right? And I look to both of you because it sounds to me like it's almost like a cycle. Like he may go, he may build up, there may be leakage, then he may go again, or something needs to happen to help him go. And the question becomes, what do you see? And I'll ultimately maybe even ask you this question: what do you see as the cause of the cycle? Because it sounds to me like sometimes things are okay and sometimes they're not. He's at your house for a certain period of time. He's at her house for a certain period of time. How many days does it take to get to this point, and then to overcome that? And those are the things that are hard for me to quantify or qualify because I can't tell how it's happening. Does that make sense? And I know each of you are saying it's like not my fault. And is it just a cyclical thing?
cyclical, what is
Well,
it you mean by
I
that?
mean, so let's just say everything cleans out, it flushes out because it gets to a point where he has no choice, or you have to go to the doctor, or you have to give him some extra medicine, or whatever it is that helps him clean out. Let's just say he starts fresh.
Right.
Okay? Then over time, things might build up again, he might have leakage, then it might flush out again. So I guess my question is this just something that he is going to live with? Is this
No.
something... So you're saying that the buildup doesn't happen if he's with you 24/7?
No. It's
Okay.
if he's taking his medication every day and eating a proper diet. And
Medication being the Metamucil? The fiber? The Miralax, I'm sorry. The Miralax.
And the Bisicodal is for his bowel. Mm-hmm. And then he has the oxybutynin.
That's for the bladder. Okay.
Yeah. And then, that when he gets constipated or impacted, it pushes on his bladder, so that makes that issue
Right.
it affects that.
Okay.
So I'm not saying the only way he's gonna get better is if he stays with me 24/7. That's not the only way, because if she would do what she's supposed to, and her family, her grandma, and her mom, and whoever else he's with, when she's at work or whatever, then he wouldn't have this issue. We already know if he takes his medicine every day, eats properly, and drinks like just pure water, nothing else, he will be fine. But it's not happening.
Okay. All right, keep going. I'm sorry. I just need to take you off track, but go ahead.
So since it's been, so long, and he's been having these issues up and down, like, so we should try something else to, because, we know what it is, the doctors know what it is. She's not there to even give him his medications. She has, you said that I was supposed to put him on the October 19th hearing. And when we got the decision on November 7th, from that hearing, you said I was to put him on my insurance. I was going to get the medication through my insurance and share it with Mom. But Mom has yet to provide me with the Social Security number. She gave me false Social Security numbers, and she won't take Alicio off her Medicaid, so I can put him on mine. And I've never had Medicaid before. I've only had it for the past 2 years. And our Medicaid has never turned off or stopped, or we've never had an issue. Okay, only once a year when you have to reapply, and that's it. Okay, but on the other hand, for some reason, Andrea's Medicaid stops or doesn't work, or she cancels it, or whatever the case. That's happened 3 or 4 times already. Just like right now. Okay, I go to pick up his medication yesterday, and they say there's an issue with the insurance. So, yeah, I don't know. That's never happened to us. So I don't see why it keeps happening to hers. And she says she has to go down to the office for whatever reason. We've never had to go down to the office. I don't know what the issue is on that. But I haven't been able to put him on my insurance. And, I know I can just go down to the Social Security office or whatever and get the numbers. But, why should I even have to go, do that? Why can't you just provide me information I'm entitled to? You know what I mean?
Right. So you don't have his Social Security number?
No. She's giving me fake socials. And also, on the what they've submitted, her tax papers that we requested, when she does her income tax and stuff, their socials were redacted on those documents. I don't know why. Why would that be?
They were redacted. You're talking about during the process here?
When my lawyer, when I had, he asked for a production of whatever you call it.
When they do the production of documents, that's normal that they would redact the Social Security numbers. Yeah, and especially if someone's going to try and submit it to the court, because the court is not allowed to take any documents with socials.
Well, maybe that's just me, but I feel they did that on purpose. They don't want me to have them, but if that's the case, okay, sorry, my bad. But, I don't know. And then, she won't add me to any of, the contacts in the school.
So you're still not a contact?
Well, yeah, I had to play Ring Around the Rosies with the office staff when I went over there to add myself. The first day, the second week of school that I went, when, on my week of this year at his new school, I went over there to add myself, and I was sent away, and I was told that I can't add myself because none of my information is in the system.
Objection, hearsay. We don't know if they said that.
I would say that.
Okay, well then.
Hold
they
on,
didn't
hold
say
on,
that.
hold on. I would say that's their present sense impression of what was going on at that moment in the, and so I'm going to overrule that. So go ahead.
I was there with my joint custody paperwork,
What's that?
my joint custody documentation,
Mm-hmm.
and I was sent away the first time.
Okay.
And then, they're like, just wait a couple days until, all the information from the other school comes in, and then we'll be able to add you or whatever. It should be here by, I think they said the end of the week because it was like a Monday when I was there. When I go back the second time, the lady, she tried doing the same thing. She tried sending me away again. And this time, we're not.
When was this?
This is like the second week of school.
This year.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
She had them the first week, and I had them the second week. So I'm going to go add myself and my emergency contact list. And I have my joint custody paperwork. And she looks in the system, and she said, "Oh, well, there's still nothing here." And I said, "Well, I got my paperwork right here, joint custody, so I'm allowed to put myself on the contact list and add my emergency contact list to, the people that need to be called if I can't make it when he's with me, when he's on my time." Okay.
So did you do that?
Yes, only after she tried sending me away. I said, "Well, you know what, how about you call your legal department because this isn't right. I have my paperwork right here stating I have legal joint custody." And so she went over there, acted like she was going to call, and then came back to her computer, and she was like, "Oh, well, you know what, it's hard, it takes a long time, we can't get a hold of them right now, whatever, they have to call back." And that's not true because last time the other school, Aliana school, called legal immediately and talked
But
to
did
them.
you end up getting yourself on at that point?
Yes, because when she came back to her computer, she was like, "Oh, well, you know what? It's there now. It just popped up right now. I don't know how but it's there now. So okay, you can add yourself now." So and then I did. So it was that whole thing. I don't even know where the lady can even just take someone's word or something, because I don't know. I can speculate.
Well, we're not here.
What
We're not here to
happened,
figure out what the
because,
schools.
but why
Hey,
would
hold
they?
on.
Why would
Hold
they?
on, hold on. We're not here to. I don't want to. Whatever the school did,
Yeah.
you were. What school is it again? I can't remember the
Still,
name.
it's Rogers.
So you can speculate all day long as to what the school did, but we don't know. So or why she was doing it.
But there's certain steps you have to follow. Like you can't just take someone's word for something. Even no matter what anybody says, there's certain steps. If I come in with my documentation saying I have joint custody, you have to let me add myself, not send me away just because of whatever you believe. And then so I had that, and then every time since then, it's just been a pain. Like they don't want to, an issue happened at school with one kid and Alicio where they thought Alicio had matches and he was gonna said he was gonna set the school on fire or something like that. And they called mom or whatever because she's like a primary person or whatever. And I didn't hear really nothing from Andrea about it. And when I found out through Alicio, or I'm not even sure how I found out, but I know Andrea didn't tell me about it.
When was this?
This was like, I want to say, probably like a month ago or something. So I went down to the school, and talked to the principal about, you know, what happened. Like, why wasn't I called? Like, this was something, you know, serious. And they said, well, we don't call both parties every time something happens. And I was like, well, no, not every time some little thing happens, but if it's serious, like you said, like, why wouldn't you call me to let me know? You know, we have joint custody. And she said, no, that's something you have to get through the mom or whatever.
Okay.
And I explained to her, like, okay, well, moving forward, would you please, like, let me know things that's going on, because I'm not going to get information from the mom. So I'd appreciate it if you would call me if it's something serious. And she's like, well, you know, no, we don't do that.
Okay, but we're not here to complain about the school or what. I mean, I
But
get
all
that it's not
stems
work.
from, you know
Well,
what I mean?
you don't know what it stems from. You're speculating, and I understand your point that she didn't give the information. That is relevant, but the rest of it about what they're saying to you and their protocol. I mean, you can complain about it, but this is about you two. So I just want to make sure you stay focused, okay? Because I understand the frustration, but I can't change what the school's doing.
I understand.
Okay.
Just everything would be a lot smoother between the two of us, and you know, the kids would benefit from it if we had a healthy or a good co-parenting relationship. Okay? And I've tried to have that, because when I found out about the issues, I was letting her know, you know, when I had Alicio for the 2 months, I was letting her know what was going on. I was telling her I have an appointment for him for this doctor, for this time, this day, and what, I told her what happened, what the doctor said, what we needed to do. I wasn't getting any replies. And then, at that time, I believe we were blocked also. Okay. She said that she didn't even get to talk to him or see him once, or that he called once or whatever. And that's not true. We have like our call log in our, you know, exhibits that we called like 48 times. We called his mom plenty of times. You can shake your head all you want, but it's right here, and you know, we can pull it out right now. You know, and then we also sent so many texts. I mean, and just not getting anything back, and it's like she wants to make me look like a bad person, like intentionally, like wants to intentionally make me look like I'm not doing what I'm supposed to, or I won't cooperate. I'm the problem, and it's just not the case. Okay, like we had, everything was like kind of okay, like besides not being able to see the kids that much, and his issues. Once Nohea stepped into the picture, that's where everything like plummeted straight down. And you know, I'm gonna bring up this girl that she's with, her partner, and give you more detail about that. But there was a meeting. I don't know if you want to object to this or not, whether it happened or not, but her family, her mom, her grandma, and my daughter, and her best friend that she had for like 7 or 8 years, had like an intervention thing with Andrea, because like they all know that Nohea is no good for her and treats her kids bad, and said that, you know, pretty much gave her an ultimatum, like leave her or break up with her or whatever, or, you know, we're not going to talk to you because, and then she lost her friend, you know, that she's had for like 7 or 8 years because of it. And everybody knows that it's no good for her or the kids. And she decides, she still chooses to be with this person. You know, she puts this person first. And you know, there's a lot of underlying issues with that person. I'm pretty sure there'll be appropriate time to let you know about all that.
Now's your time. Tell me.
Okay. Let's see here. Thought I didn't have it. Okay. Alright. So, Nahea flips out all the time for the smallest things. This is what my children tell me. She's bipolar and she takes medication for this.
Objection. Child hearsay.
Well,
Yeah.
how do you know this?
He just said that her
Well, he said
children
that about
told
the
us.
first thing, but what about the second?
That she's bipolar,
Okay.
and my children tell me. My daughter tells me. We requested,
Okay, so-
you know.
It's offered for the truth of the matter asserted, right? So I just have to like go through the Pardon me?
Go through, yeah.
Yeah. So if you're going to offer someone else's statement for the truth of the matter asserted, then it's hearsay unless there's an exception to the hearsay rule. So what's the reason for you telling me this?
Well, in the production of documents, we asked for the specifically list of, I don't know exactly what it said, but it was like asking for the list of doctors and medications that they were either taking or had been taking for the past 10 years or something. And then they objected to it and said that there were none like available or whatever, or that they didn't take, there was nothing.
But you're asking about Mom, or are you asking about Mom and Nohea?
Yeah, and it says, and anybody else involved directly with the children.
Oh.
Because I had to do it for me, and Nicole had to do it too. So, they said that they don't take any medication or whatever, and that's not true.
Okay, so I would say, it's hearsay in that you're offering it for the truth, but you can ask her about it when next time when counsel puts their client on the stand, you can ask her about it, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
All right. So, if she doesn't take her medication, she gets grumpy and angry. And then, this is the person that my kids are with, like, most of the time, because she's the one working right now.
You're saying Ms. Gutierrez?
Andrea's working right now. And I believe Maya's not working right now. So, they would be, like, with the grandma, Lola, or whatever, if both of them were working. But since she hasn't been working, Nohea tore down my daughter's art wall that she has in her room, because she likes to draw and she's like very artistic, and she has like posters and stuff. She has like a signed poster from Lincoln Park from Chester Bennington, and Nohea goes and tears it down and bends that signed poster or whatever, because Aliana left one dish in the sink in the morning before she went to school.
Objection, Your Honor. Beyond his personal knowledge. Hearsay.
I'll ask her about it.
Yeah, do that. Because otherwise we're going to end up with objection every time you
Yeah,
say anything
that's fine.
about what goes on in the household.
Hmm?
Okay.
Aliana feels hated by Nohea, and Nohea treats my daughter like a slave, making her clean every day, like she's Cinderella or something. And then during a summer, one time it was like 100 degrees, you know how hot it gets here in the summertime. She told the kids to go outside.
Who's she?
Nohea. Nohea told the
Okay,
kids to
so-
go outside.
Okay.
She didn't want them around or whatever, and then when after they were playing, they were hot, they wanted to go inside and get some water or whatever. The door was locked, and so they were waiting outside for however long to come back in to get some water. And Nohea was like, "Why are they back? I told them to go outside and stay outside." And it was like, "Well, they just wanted to get some water. It's hot outside." And then let's see, just
See what he's reading? Like,
Well,
is it
I'm
the
go-
journal? The child's journal or something?
No. He has his own notes because he's his own counsel, which I'm allowing him to do.
Mom thinks that it's this kid's journal.
oh
Can
no,
we look at it?
this is mine. This is mine.
Those are his notes.
I wrote this from
Those
all
are
the
his notes.
Okay.
things my daughter and my son
It's
told
just like
me.
if he were counsel asking notes to his client. I
I'm
mean,
just also curious, like, where he got this information.
well,
For my kids.
Hearsay again.
again, yeah, I just told you, instead, if you're offering it for the truth of the matter asserted, then unless you can come up with an exception to the hearsay rule to allow the hearsay in,
Oh,
then ask her about these things that you believe are happening at the
Okay.
house. Okay.
alright.
So, tell me about what your position is on custody and going through, obviously we know your position on what the kids' desires are, which you testified about last time. Then there are all the different factors, like what can you provide in terms of physical, psychological, developmental needs of the child, the level of conflict between the two of you, whether there are siblings to be involved with, and go through the list of the different elements of best interest. What we talked about, the one factor already last time. You can talk about it again a little bit because I think we've already testified about it with regard to her leaving during that period in 2015. That's one factor. But the focus should be I want you to focus on what your position is in terms of what your child needs and why you think the child's best interests are served by being in your custody.
Yeah, I was just trying to give you a little background on, the person that she's with, her partner, and why it's not
You have
healthy.
to have
and
personal
why it's not-
knowledge of this, okay? I mean,
Well, I witnessed it
well,
myself.
then will you tell me what you've witnessed? Don't tell me
All
what
right.
other people have told
Okay,
you.
then can we get the video? Like, when I went to the apartment, and she was yelling and screaming and slamming the door. We
Have
submitted
it? Is that the
yeah.
video?
Yeah, we submitted that video.
We have some videos that he provided. Oh, I'm sorry, I should be done.
So,
We
Is
do.
that-
We have videos. I don't know what video he's talking about. He's produced so much.
Okay, well, I think we talked about this video like several times about the video of when you went to the house. Which night was this?
This was April.
This is when you first wanted to see your kids after you knew where they were, correct?
Yeah. This was when I was attempting to.
Is it queued up? I don't even know. I'm asking the question. Is it queued up? Is it queued up? Has it been submitted to? I don't know. You've got this
we
queued up.
contacted IT
Yeah.
to set it up for our format, but I don't know what he has.
I don't know. Where do you have the video?
Is it on a USB?
Do you have it with you?
No, I didn't know if I was supposed to.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you would have to bring it with you because I don't have it.
Oh, okay.
To be able to present.
I know it's in the. Not the.
It's in probably one of your filings.
No, I mean not in the safe, but
The vault?
The vault, yeah. It's in.
Okay,
I
so
know it's in the vault.
okay. If it goes into the vault, I don't get it out of the vault. You'd have to
Okay,
bring it
yeah.
with you. Yeah, if you submitted it
Well-
a while ago, then it's still in the vault. But you would have to bring a copy with you today to show.
Can you?
And when we come next time, because you'll be able to cross-examine her about that incident, and you can bring it with you then.
Can I have maybe a 5-minute break, or just run out to my wife, see if she has it in her purse, or if she can run.
No, let's just, like I just said, you can utilize it next time when we're cross-examining her about the incident.
All
Because
right.
I'm assuming, counsel, you're putting your client on the stand, correct? Yeah. So when she gets back on the stand, you can ask her about the incident, and you can bring up the video then. So we'll deal with it next time we come back. Okay. All right. So go ahead.
All
Keep
right.
going then. All right.
Okay, so basically, there is no positive or healthy co-parenting relationship.
So what do you think
I
would
don't-
make it better for your children? What do you think is the best thing that could happen for them?
Well, I mean, I can't tell her who she, can be with, but her partner, doesn't promote good co-parenting or encourage it. So she's negative. She's against it. She wants to take over, like, my position and say that Alicia's her son. She calls my son her son. Like, I don't know, it's just unfortunate, because my wife and my partner is like very encourages, like good co-parenting. My kids benefit from my wife because she takes care of Alicia very well. She kicks to them every day. She has a good attitude towards them. We do things as a family. With all the kids. From what I know, Aliana is not there on the weekends with Andrea. She's living with her grandma that's right over there.
Mm-hmm.
She lives with her on the weekends. She actually asked me, Andrea asked me over the summer to take Aliana, to keep her because of the conflict they were having. So it's just not a good environment when you have somebody like that.
Conflict who was having? She and Aliana?
Aliana and Nohea. They don't get along at all. And so then it causes problems just all the way around. So she's asking me to take, just to keep her, just basically giving up, you know, her visitation. Well, I mean, not all of it, but just wanted her to live with me. Just asked me if I can take her over the summer. And,
What'd you do?
I don't remember exactly what I said. I don't want to.
What did you do? Did you take her?
No, that's when she started coming on, week off.
Oh, I see.
Because it was the 3.
Right. Okay. So she started to back to the other schedule.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then,
Or to Alicio's schedule.
yeah.
Yeah.
And then, you know, my wife helps Alicio with his homework. You know, she cares about their future. She's very well invested, you know, in my kids. In a positive way. And it's just unfortunate. And Dre doesn't have a partner that's willing to do all these good things for the kids. So there's that. Just I've been trying to get Alicio's behavior and in check, and it's just hard to make it stick when it's not like we can't talk. We don't talk, you know. So it doesn't work. Because he's allowed to do whatever, you know. It's like Disneyland when he's with mom or whoever on that side. And he knows there's consequences to his actions when he's with me. You know, he can't just not do his homework. And so we've submitted the portal, or like the online thing for between me and like the teacher. It's an app, whatever, and it shows when his assignments are turned in or missing. And then you can clearly see on my weeks his assignments were turned in, and then on mom's weeks it said missing. And that's just how it's been this whole year. I'm not saying he doesn't do any homework when he's with mom. It's very minimal. And you know, I've been trying to get him and thinking about his future and everything, and I can't talk to mom about it. She won't. She's not hearing it because her partner controls everything because she wears the pants or whatever. So I mean, I can't tell her who to be with, but my kids are suffering from her choices of her partner. Because I mean, we can get into more detail about it later and everything, but just it's not healthy. It's not good for my kids. Okay, we would have a lot better, easier, you know, smoother exchanges and just be able to raise the kids together if you know, if her partner was for that or wanted to be involved, or you know, just it's completely opposite. So you know, that affects my kids very, very negatively.
So what do you think is the answer?
I mean, unless her partner would kind of like mature up and just, you know, I don't know, like, I don't know how to fix that because that's the person she chooses to be with.
Okay, but between the two of you, how do you think things would be best for your children? I mean, schedule-wise, communication-wise, all of those things. Tell me what you think makes sense. If you have Nohea to deal with, I mean, Nohea's in the picture, period, okay? So, how do you think that the two of you can move forward, close out this process, because it's going on way too long. And your kids are suffering because of this too. I think a lot of it has to do with this, because everybody's always posturing, whether you want to believe it or not. You know, you're always on the defensive in terms of, well, is this going to be used against me? How do I say this? How do I do this? Is it going to be perceived, incorrectly? When this is over and you can just live your lives, what do you think is the best way so that your kids thrive, knowing that they have a relationship with mom has a relationship with Nohea, that's her choice. If it has an effect on your children, she'll suffer the consequences of that, and her choice. I don't know if it does or it doesn't. I'm just saying, if she chooses to be with this person and this person affects her relationship, then she'll suffer the consequences of that. Unfortunately, they will too, but that's her choice. So now, what do you think that would be the best for them in terms of a schedule, in terms of your communication?
If the children lived with me, and if Andrea or her family members wanted to do something with the kids that's not, disturbing their daily life or interrupting, if they make plans and want to go do something, then, go do what you want to do and then let them come back home. That way they're not just there, inconveniencing or just in the way, you know what I mean?
Well, I have to set a schedule. I can't just say it's a free-for-all. So that's why I'm asking you, what do you think makes sense for the two of you and your children, with the best interest of your children in mind? What do you think is in their best interest? I mean, I have to set a schedule. What is that? What's your work schedule right now? What's your current work schedule?
I would like to work that out with Andrea, but I don't know. I don't know. She's not even allowed to work anything out with me.
What's your current work schedule?
I'm unemployed right now.
Okay, so you're home.
Yes. As well as my wife.
You're both unemployed?
Yes.
Okay. So are you guys both you're drawing unemployment? Or
No.
any kind of
No,
how do
my
you,
wife doesn't get unemployment.
But you do?
Yes.
Okay.
I just started getting it recently.
Okay. When did you lose your job?
It was April 14th. Well, it's been a little while.
Mm-hmm. All right. Are you looking for a job?
Yeah, I could have had, a number of like low paying jobs or whatever, but I've really been doing a lot to make sure we have what we need, because this has to do with my kids' future. So I've kind of like not been as I haven't been searching for a job as much as I should, because I knew this was coming up, and this takes a lot of time.
It sure
There's
does,
doctor's
doesn't it?
appointments,
Mm-hmm.
all the doctor's appointments, just having to submit all kinds of things because all these things are happening. Takes up a lot of time.
Okay, so let's talk about, again, a schedule. And what you think would help the two of you in terms of, aside from, if you want to cut out Nohea, but you can't do that.
No.
So what do you think would help with the two of you? in terms of communication? Anything that you can think of?
I don't even want to cut out no hair. I would just rather her be a part of my kid's life but
When you say,
it's just not gonna
or be
happen.
more, are you looking for her to be more, what's the word?
Supportive,
Cooperative with you? And supportive of your relationship with as a co-parent with Ms. Gutierrez?
Yeah, like my wife.
Okay, fair enough.
Because, like, for example, when Aliana was at Seven Hills, and we were supposed to be like a family meeting thing, and that everybody involved was supposed to come talk or whatever. I asked Andrea if, I was like, well, Noah should be there because she lives there.
Mm-hmm.
This is a problem with Aliana.
Right.
So I told her that she should be there. Like, your partner should come. And she's like, oh no, she's working or whatever. I mean, she hasn't been at any of the doctor's appointments. She's probably been to one doctor's appointment that they thought we weren't gonna show up to. I mean, I just heard so many excuses and but I haven't heard, like, what can I do? I haven't heard, like, her trying. I just heard, like, her finding every way not to do it instead of finding every way, to do it.
Okay.
And then, so in terms of orders and timeshare, I just think they're better off with me.
Okay, but I'm not hearing a timeshare. So, because I'm going to ask you a question. Once you tell me what your thoughts are, then I'm going to ask you something else. But go ahead. Any thoughts on a timeshare?
I mean, it's hard to do. It's hard to make a timeshare. I don't know, because everything is always constantly changing with everybody. So,
Right? I mean, this is what I have to do, though. I have to create a timeshare. It's going to end up possibly changing.
yeah.
But hopefully, as time wears on and this closes out, the two of you can work that out. Because clearly that's what you would like to be able to do with her, correct? Okay, let me ask you this question. What is your understanding of her work schedule?
2 to 10.
Pardon me?
2 to 10.
2 to 10, what days?
2 p.m. to 10 p.m. Our days off, I believe, are Sunday and what, I don't know, what are your days off?
I just want to know what your understanding is. What do you think it
either
is?
Tuesday or Wednesday and like one day of the weekend.
Okay,
They're
so
not
one day during the
together.
week,
Split
they're
up.
not
Yeah.
they're not together.
No.
Okay. Okay. I'll get it from her, but I just wanted to know what your understanding is. So then, what is your understanding of what your kids are doing when she's at work?
They're with Nahea or the grandma.
Okay. And you're off right now. What kind of work, once you get beyond this, what kind of work do you do, and kind of job would you look for?
Either heavy equipment operator on construction.
Are you in the union? No. Okay.
No, that was something I was I'm thinking about getting ready to apply for. I gotta pass the GD test, and I just haven't gone down to try and do it. So pretty soon I'm actually make an attempt to do it to see if I can join the union. Or, I mean, there's a couple of different things I can do as opposed to like what I want to do. You know what I mean? I've worked in a nightclub industry for 7 years before. I mean, it's good money while it lasts, but it's not like a career. I don't want to make a career out of it. I mean, some people do. Then I've done some some like banquets, because there'd be like private parties like at the nightclubs. So we do like tray passing and things like that, and busing.
Mm-hmm.
So then I kind of started doing that after.
But what kind of work are you going to look for when
Mostly probably construction.
construction?
Yeah.
And so, what kind of schedule would you have if you worked construction?
I mean, it just normally would be, I don't know. It's
Days?
yeah. I mean, it's all that's different too, because before I was working 7/12s on, week off, and just you can never tell, like, before you have the job, you know, and then jobs change. So I really couldn't even give you a definite answer of what my schedule would be, you know, for a job that I don't even know I have.
All right.
If you like let Aliana decide what she wants to do, like leave it week on, week off with her, and if she wants to stay with me, then you know, even if it's 1 week, then her be allowed to do that without any repercussions.
So some teenage discretion.
Yeah. I mean, and then that's kind of limited too, because then she has that whole side of the family, like, just jumping on her back, breathing down her throat, and, you know, they weren't gonna let her come over here and tell the truth to the mediator.
Wasn't
in her
she?
interview.
Well, don't you think she should also be able to see them too, though?
Yeah, most definitely. I'm not trying to, like, cut them out. I'm just saying they should live with me and just be, like, whenever the kids want to go with them, they should be able to. Or whenever they have plans to do something with them, then fine. But as far as, like, the living situation, I want them to live with me.
Okay. In terms of Alicio, same thing.
I mean, for temporarily, I don't know if we can just have him stay with me until, you know, I can prove that he will get better, his accidents will stop. And maybe if we can have another just status check in like 3 months, and then see where he's at. That way you can see, you know, why he's gone through this for an extra, like, a year and a half for no reason. I can show you that.
Okay. So, for argument's sake, then, if I said, all right, fine, they'll live in your house, go to mom's house during the time that she's off. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, whenever they want to spend time with it, when they want to do something, when they're involving the children, then go ahead, do it. Like,
All right.
they want to, or if the kids want to say, hey, I want to go to mom's because we want to go do this or whatever, okay, fine, go ahead. Like, they should be able to go with mom whenever they want to, or they can, you know, they can have the kids whenever they request. I just want them to live with me.
Okay, for argument's sake again, let's just say mom's schedule changes. Let's say now she's on 2 to 10, but she's on 8 to 4.
And,
8 a.m. to 4 p.m. What happens then? Because now she's home in the evening, right? So did your thought change on that in terms of now she's home with the kids in the evening? She gets home right after they get home from school.
temporarily, no. Not for Alicia.
For Alicio, I understand. Okay, but in terms of Aliana, that's a different story then as well, correct?
Aliana is just like, whether Andrea's home or not, Aliana and I don't get along. Period. At all. So.
Well, I just had that discussion with you, and I don't know. I mean, this is your perception, and I understand that. I mean, I'm sure we'll hear from Mom, and we might even hear from Nohea. Are we going to hear from Nohea?
That'd
No.
be great. If
No.
I would have known beforehand, like all this information, I would have put her on my
Your
witness
list?
list.
Yeah.
And Andrea's friend Nick, that knows everything. The friend that she lost 7 or 8 years,
Okay. Well,
due to Nohea, I would have put her on my witness list also. But I didn't know it was to that extent. I knew it was, stemming from her somewhat. But, through all this, now I've really gotten what's going on, how this person is, and who this person is.
okay. Well, like I said, I'm sure we'll hear from Mom. You can ask Mom about what goes on in the household when she's on the stand. Through her counsel, you'll get to cross-examine again. So you're able to do that. So then, it's your position then that because of Aliana's relationship with Nohea, that even if Mom were home in the evenings, she shouldn't be there, like half-time?
Yeah.
So when would she spend time with Mom then?
Whenever they have plans to be, like, to actually do something as, like, together as a family, or just like the Pride event, They
Okay,
wanted
but
to go
what
do
about-
that. Okay, so she
but-
went and did that, and it was my week. So
But how? Okay, but hold on. But at the same time, I mean, whether they're doing something together as a family or they're just sitting home watching TV and having dinner, they're all still together, one way or the other. So, how do you define? And look, this is the
Well, I mean,
dilemma.
it didn't have to be.
Hold on,
yeah,
hold on.
okay, I
But how do you
understand what you're saying,
define
yeah.
when it's appropriate and when it's not in your mind in terms of, I mean, this is the dilemma that I have, right? So it's okay to do an event, but it's not okay to sit at home and have dinner on your
Yeah, that's
regular
what-
custody
Yeah,
night.
no, I didn't mean it like that.
Okay.
But just, I have said, like, whenever the kids want to go, like, go to Mom's or spend time with Mom, that's fine with me.
So you think it should be up to the kids?
I mean, they should live with me, and yeah, and if they want to request having the kids for something they want to do, or an overnight, or like this day or that day.
But what if they
whatever, but
request every single night
I
of
like
1 week?
to, they can go ahead and live their lives
Okay.
without the kids being like.
But hold on, and understand again. This is my dilemma because I have to create some parameters here. You say that, but then she's off in the evenings, and you have your week, and then she's like, "This is the week that I could spend time with them." So, or let's just say it's every week you have them, and it's just all about based upon the request. I want to do something with the kids.
Well, I mean.
That opens up like a major can of worms. You understand
Yeah,
that?
yeah.
She could say Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, I have something to do with the kids. I want to have them over for dinner. I want to take them out to a movie. I want to do some homework with them.
Mm-hmm.
This is my issue, and that's why I understand
Yeah.
your point, but it's easier said than done.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm asking you, if you guys weren't in the midst of this kind of a case, look, if you could do what you're talking about, you wouldn't be here. You wouldn't be here.
Exactly.
But you're here, and now I'm required to establish a plan. And quite frankly, I think the only way the two of you are going to function, even halfway normally, is if you have a plan, at least at first. A set schedule that's best for your kids, that addresses everybody's concerns, that makes sure the kids are healthy and happy, and their medical issues, their school issues, everything is addressed. Not always perfect, but we only have so much to work with, right? We only have so many days in a week. We have only so much free time on each side. And, all the family dynamics that go along with that. So, I guess I'm just still looking to you to say, okay, so if Judge, you have to create a plan that actually that gives me specifics, which is what I'm required to do, what would those be? I mean, right now we know, at least we think, her schedule is 2 to 10. off on Sundays or Saturday, one day on the weekend and one day during the week. So how would you work a plan in that regard with that schedule?
It's kind of hard because her days are separated. Like would say, if she had Saturday and Sunday, then Friday maybe after school, Saturday, Sunday. But I don't know. It's not like that. So I don't know, it's difficult. I don't know how to figure it out. I wish we can just figure it out together, but it's just not possible. She won't.
Look, I wish you
She's
could
not
too.
allowed to.
Believe you me, I wish you could. And maybe between now and the next hearing, you could. I'm looking to Mr. Burton, who's fidgeting in his chair, or counsel.
Been around this
What's
case
that?
a while. I've been around this case too long, I think.
Hey, look, you know what? Stranger things have happened. You know, as the longer you practice and the more you see, stranger things have happened, trust me. And quite frankly, sometimes people just are to the point where they're like, this is just nonsense. Like, we need to stop. So, pardon me?
It's my understanding we've made offers, but nothing's happening back and forth. So,
Well, there's been a lot of water under the bridge in this case, and there may have been offers. I don't know what the offers are, and I'm not supposed to know, so don't tell me. But it doesn't mean you can't still try. As he was talking about that, I just keep sitting here thinking, like, there's someone that we can send these to sit down and, like, you know, I know the mediation center is one thing, but somebody who's more, I don't know, like one of the senior judges or somebody who could sit down with that. Hold on.
Her partner would have to be there.
Can't be there. Stop. She can't be there. That's my point. So, somebody who could just work with these two. No partner, no wife, no nobody. No family members, no input from just the two of you sitting down and talking with somebody who, it would be nice if they could even have a counselor, but somebody like one of the senior judges who could talk sense to them about not only like logistics, because a lot of this is really about logistics and being flexible and being willing to be open-minded and listen and communicate about each other's concerns. And, frankly, being able to put aside what happened in the past. Because there's a lot of animosity, and rightfully so, from both sides. I mean, that period where you didn't see your children, I get it. Period where she didn't see Alicio, I get it. So you're both harboring so much resentment. How do you get past that so that you can do what's best for your children? Because until you do that, these two are always going to suffer from that because they know it's there, regardless of whether you even have any contact. They know it's there. So
I kind of like to differ on the amount of resentment.
well, look, I don't care about the amount. I'm not talking about.
I hold or whatever, because it's.
But hold on. I'm not talking there. You could have a minimal amount. The point being, whatever has happened in your past, and however it is that the two of you currently communicate or don't communicate, is causing harm to your children. Whoever's causing it, and look, it takes two. Nobody's perfect, right? We all have our own issues. So I'm not saying it's you, I'm not saying it's her. It's just the dynamic between the two of you. And until that changes, I don't know how you guys, I mean, I'll set a schedule after this trial's over, 4 days of trial or whatever, and everybody's still going to suffer. And that's why I'm sitting here listening to this and thinking, you know, because something's going to change. Her schedule will change. You'll get a job. She'll need Noa's help again. You'll need your wife's help. She'll be upset because your kids are with your wife. You'll be upset because your kids are with Noa. And you don't think that the kids are treated properly over there, and she thinks that you should be the one doing it and not your wife. So, I mean, like, I'll always hear these complaints. Until the two of you get beyond that, along with everything else, get the medical issues.
Your Honor.
Wow. I just, yeah.
I tried.
Do you understand my point, though?
I tried to do what's best for my kids. I tried.
I understand. I'm not saying that you don't.
I'm not getting anything back.
Okay. You may not be. That's why I'm asking you, like, what do you think? So basically what you're saying is, I need more cooperation from mom. Or I need more communication from mom. Okay. Fair enough. How do you suggest that happens?
Probably, I don't know, a wake-up call? I don't know.
Well, I don't know what that
understand
means.
how to
I'm
say it,
asking, like,
just-
seriously, logistically, how do you suggest that that happens? Do you two sit down with, do you take parenting classes together? Do you sit down with a counselor together? Do you have, weekly meetings, monthly meetings, or you just, the two of you, no one else? I'm just trying to figure out, how do we fix this family? Because it's a fractured mess right now. Because you're still family. I don't care. You're still, you share children. You don't live together, but it doesn't mean you're still not a family unit. That you should communicate and should still work together.
Yeah. First off, it has to start with her putting the children first. That's where it has to start.
Okay, let me ask you this question. You think she doesn't. She thinks she does. So now a lot of this has to do with also accepting the fact that you're never going to make the other person who you think they should be, or have them, they will never act in conformance with what you think is absolutely the right way. She thinks you act inappropriately or communicate inappropriately to her. I'm just from what I heard last time, it was clear that there's this underlying, she feels like you're telling her what to do, and she feels like she knows what to do, and you don't need to tell her what to do, and you have your own opinion, and she has her opinion. So now, that's about a level of just like respect and understanding that you will never change human behavior. Like she was raised a certain way. She is who she is. You had babies with her. Same with you. She's not going to change you, and you're not going to change her. So until you accept one another for who you are, that's the other thing. You guys are always going to be miserable.
Well, yes, just no matter how we feel about each other or whatever's happened in the past, we should still work things out, and it's not happening.
Correct. Right now it's not. I agree with you.
I'm making
But I
attempts.
think it's
I'm
a lot of
trying.
times because there's finger pointing of you're not doing the way I think it should be done, or you're not putting the children first, or you're not, as opposed to, let's talk about this, right? Let's talk about this. This is what the kids are saying to me. This is how the kids are feeling. Is there some way we can fix it? If there isn't, all you can do is the best on your end. If there isn't a way to fix it, or you're feeling like she's not doing what you think she should do at her place, all you can do on your end is do the best during the time that you have them. And like I said earlier, if the kids are being affected by her choices, she suffers the consequences. Unfortunately, the kids will suffer in that environment too if there really is something going on. But her relationship with them will suffer in the end, which I don't think she wants. So I guess I'm just trying to figure out, how do I help these two? My job is to make a decision. My job is to just, at the end of the day, hear all your complaints, your arguments, your factual assertions, same with mom, and make a determination that I think is in their best interest under the current circumstances. With her schedule like it is, with your schedule like it is, all I can do. But I guess I'm just looking beyond that. Like, there's got to be something else. Because these two kids are suffering.
You gotta be able to come to a medium.
Yeah, I agree. Because you know what? This is going to be ever-changing.
With everything and everything, we have to be able to come to some type of agreement. Like, no matter what. And we can't. We just... I try. She just does not want to to me or she can't talk to me about anything. So therefore we have all these problems.
Okay, so let me ask a question. This is sort of, again, we're going far afield, but the counselor that isn't coming, how was she chosen and what is her role again? I can't remember off the top of my head. Mom, you chose her?
No, she was chosen for us. But yeah, I started initially with the therapy when all this started going on, just because I seen the differences in the kids.
Mm-hmm.
They did see another one prior to her, but she ended up moving and going somewhere else. So then this one was appointed to us from Silvestri, her old school, Aliana's.
Okay. All right. And are you involved in that? Is it still going on?
He was. It's still going on. He chose to stop sessions with her due to them having a disagreement. And Julia does say
Hold on. You can tell me about it in a second.
Julia does say every time that she wishes she can really help the kids, or Alicia, because he's starting to have anxiety attacks on Sundays, to be comfortable when he's over there. Because I'm not trying to, take the kids away either. So I'm trying to make them adjust and trying to give him consistency. And, that's all she wants too for Alicia. So she does wish that she can still talk to him. And
You mean talk to Dad?
Brian, yeah. I did want to add that we did do a session with her, Julia, me and him by ourselves. And like you're saying, all that keeps going back and forth. And here is exactly what was happening in there. So exactly what is going on right now with the blaming and accusing and the documenting of me supposedly not taking care of Alicia and giving him his medication was the same thing that was going on there. So I felt like it wasn't going to go any further if he was going to keep on bringing up the past and stuff like that. So.
Well, okay. So tell me what your thought is on the therapy.
Well, I have good reason to have stopped with Julia. There's a lot of things behind why I think they even started the therapy to begin with. Okay? Because before I filed, there was no therapist. There was, Julia wasn't, or anybody, for any reason. There was none. Kids didn't need help they didn't need to see.
You don't think the kids could benefit from a therapist?
That was never brought up before.
Okay, but that doesn't mean that they still don't need potential intervention.
Well, I didn't mean they didn't need help, but she didn't bring it up before.
Okay.
Is what I'm.
Okay, so what's the issue with you went into the session and what happened? You had one session with Mom.
Basically, it was all about how the medication. How she just kept lying about the medication. First she said like 3 different things in the meeting about the medication. First she said she already had it, and then she said
what medication? Which medication? There's several.
It's been a little while. It's in my exhibits exactly what happened at that meeting, and it was just, she's lying about how, because she said she filled it and she had it already, and then she said she didn't have it, and I needed to give it to her. And then she said like 3 different things, and she was just lying. She wasn't making no sense. So, that's kind of why.
Okay, so you actually utilized the session not to talk about co-parenting, but to talk about the medication?
I didn't choose the topic. I'm not the one who went in there and said we're going to talk about the medication. Okay,
so how did it get to that point?
I don't really remember exactly. exactly. I mean, we have it in our exhibits, everything that happened that day.
All right,
I
so
can't remember off the top of my head exactly.
okay, why wouldn't you go back to her?
It was I requested that we have a family meeting with everybody. My wife and her partner with Julia. They didn't want to. They wouldn't do it. They were saying, "Oh, well, we'll wait till after court to do that." I mean, and I asked Julia, like, you know, are they going to agree to a family? That way we can all get together and all, you know, be on the same page and everything. And they wouldn't do it. And then finally, she agreed to do it with me or something like that. And it just didn't even go well.
Your Honor. So yeah, that's what happened. So we decided to, Julia decided to have just me and Ryan start just together so that there wasn't any other opinions coming into the circle.
Which I think is wise.
Right. So what she asked from us was, we're not going to bring anything up from the past. We're going to bring stuff up from this point on and how to get over it and what we can do to, you know, fix the communication.
Like what I've been asking
Yeah.
you today. Yeah.
So, like I said, all he was doing was blaming and accusing and bringing up the past over and over and over again. I wish Julia could be here to attest to this, but, you know, that's exactly what did happen. So I chose not to do another session, knowing that it is just going to be the same thing. And my anxiety level at that time back then, because it was still kind of fresh, you know. So, yeah. So that was my choice not to continue, knowing that if he's just going to be the same way each and every time, I didn't feel like it was going to get better, and I didn't want to bring the spouses in either.
Right.
That
Okay.
matter.
So now what?
It's not the truth. It's
Well, I guess.
not the truth.
So you didn't talk about the past in there?
No, she's just trying to. That's just how it's been going. This whole every
Stop
she's just
again.
trying-
That's her perception of how it went down. What do you think happened in that session?
It wouldn't. We couldn't get anywhere because she doesn't just admit that she was wrong. She did something wrong, and then
See, but that's what. See what the point. You see what you just did? Well, you're trying to prove a point rather than just saying, "Forget it. We're going to move on." Whoever's wrong, right, or otherwise.
well, that's how it ended up happening. I didn't go in there to try and to prove a point. That's not what
But
my
you,
intentions
it sounds
were.
to me
My
like you pushed the
intentions-
point, though.
My intentions were to try. That's what she's trying to make you believe. My intentions were good.
just said.
Going in there, I was asking Julia, like I had to ask her like 3 or 4 times because she would come over like every week, and I would ask her like a month in a row, like are we gonna have a meeting? All of us. Are we gonna have?
Okay, but
all of
once
us?
you got in
All
the
of us?
meeting, how does it end up going to whether she has medication filled, not filled, what kind of, how she's handling the medication? How does it go there?
I don't remember exactly how it happened. I don't have like the best of memory. I really don't. I can't
I
even.
don't know if I believe that because you can tell with great detail, but that's
some,
beside the point.
Some
Okay.
things I can. But
Okay,
that
so-
specific day, I don't
Okay.
even know how it went.
All right, but at the end of the day, the point of counseling is to say, all right, we've all made mistakes. You know, whether someone admits to them, whether someone doesn't, is really irrelevant. If you're really trying to work hard to like get beyond that and do what's best to improve your co-parenting. So, I mean, is there any hope for that?
I have hope.
Okay, but does that mean someone has to admit all their faults, all the things that you think they did wrong in order to get beyond this, or can you just say, you know what, I think she's wrong,
it
she
was-
thinks
no,
she's
you know
right,
what?
it doesn't really matter at the end of the day?
No, it was because it was the issue for why I didn't like let them go to California to the funeral or whatever. And we were talking about that or something, And that's how the medication issue came up. Because she was trying to, I don't know, it just turned into that. That's not what it was supposed to be.
Okay, all right, fair enough. But I guess my point is, do you think that the two of you have any hope of going in and doing something productive? Or is it always going to turn into, finger pointing and someone's lying and, because it's really about working on yourselves and figuring out, how do I deal with this other person and understand that person has a role in this, and I have to work with that person.
That's what I've been trying to do. I've
But-
been trying to work with her. I've been trying to work on and everything that has to do with the kids. It's not like every time an issue comes, I just bring up the past. It's not what's happening. I just go in, say we have this problem, and then I don't get any feedback. She just doesn't.
Let me ask you this though: if you got
work it
feedback
out
that was
if
different
she's
than
not.
what your belief is, because what I've heard in the last 2 years is feedback that is, or when you raise an issue and she disagrees with you, then she's just doesn't get it. She's wrong. So that's where I see this thing disconnecting. Is you have a position. If she's not aligned completely with you, then things just go sideways.
No, that's not
But
it
that's
at
what,
all.
because you, especially with the Alicio thing. I'm not going to say with everything, but with the Alicio thing and his medication and his treatment, I mean, the whole day we spent last time pointing out how a lot of the day anyway, how the two of you disagreed on, what the condition was, how it should be treated, how it should be handled, how it's better or not better, and it's each of your perceptions is completely different. Completely different. But I know you're dealing with the same kid, so it's. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, she says, "Oh, it's not as bad. It's gotten better." You say, "Oh my God, it's just still terrible," and I'm sitting here, realizing that you're both seeing the same thing. You're just perceiving it completely differently.
I don't know. It's
You know what I'm saying?
It's hard to work things out with a liar. And
Oh,
someone
well, see,
who's
if
not
that's gonna be
willing,
the case-
she lies about everything, and she won't work anything out with me. I'm telling you the truth, Your Honor. She will
Work
not
anything
work
out with you in what
anything.
way?
She won't.
But what do you mean by that?
She makes things up and she lies about it. She won't just say, okay, what are we going to do? Like, let's do this. She just like, no, it's something. Like, I don't know. I can't work. She won't work with me. We can't work together because she won't.
Is that because she disagrees with what you think is happening? Is that what you mean? Like, if you say,
Even
hey,
if
look,
she
there's
had a
this issue.
Even if she had a disagreement, we can still work it out. She just lies about everything. She won't work anything out.
When you say she lies about everything, what do you
We
mean?
can work out our differences, but she won't. She will not work out our differences with me. Our differences, whatever the case. She will not work out our differences. She just lies.
Are you saying, when you say, okay, I'm trying to figure out what you mean by that. So you raise an issue with her. You say, this is the issue, and this is what's happening. And she says, no, that's not happening? Is that what you're telling me? I mean, I'm trying to figure out what you mean, because then we can work out our differences, meaning
to come up with a
come
solution.
compromise, or does this mean she needs to come all the way to you?
No, that does not.
Or does this
she
mean
needs
we're going to
come-
meet in the middle?
The middle, yes. We cannot find the middle because she's not willing to meet me in the middle.
Okay.
Or she's not allowed to meet me in the middle, whatever the case is.
Okay. All right. Let's take a 5-minute break. You've been sitting on the stand for about an hour and a half.
What are we going to hear when we come back? What are we going to do when we come back?
We're going to continue. Whatever.
What else do you want? What else do you need to hear from me?
We'll talk. I'll think about it. We'll talk about it when we get back. Can we go off the record?